Lady Vren walked through the third checkpoint alone, the sealed scroll heavy in her hand. No guards moved to stop her.
There is no turning back now. Every step is an answer.
She stepped aboard the Earth shuttle, the hatch hissing shut behind her like a final seal on her fate.
He will rage. He will threaten. But I am no longer his weapon. People of the Council, I am Lady Vren, eldest daughter of Speaker Doth Vren III. I stand before you today as something my father never expected. A defector. My father has corrupted the seat he holds. His tyranny is a stain on our civilization, and I will no longer serve it.
In the Grand Council chamber, Speaker Doth Vren watched his daughter's face fill the screen. His knuckles whitened on the armrest of his throne.
Treason. This is an act of war against my house.
I carry proof of what I say. Ancient, incontestable. The Council itself will see.
The broadcast cut, but the damage was done. Somewhere, a speaker raged. Somewhere else, an Earth ambassador received a sudden, urgent call. Ambassador Patricia's console flashed with a priority alert, live transmission from the Council chambers. She opened it as the room fell silent.
Their deception runs deep. They have stolen my daughter, the heir of Doth Vren, to shatter our unity.
Then the formal words appeared alongside his image. A declaration of total war, broadcast to every Council world in real time.
I, Speaker Doth Vren, declare war on Earth. Humanity will return my daughter, or face annihilation. This kidnapping is an act of aggression.
Get me a line to Fleet Command. And someone confirm Lady Vren's status. I need her secure. Now, she walked right into our shuttle. Was this defection, or something else entirely?
Aboard the shuttle, Vren listened to her father's declaration through the comm. The sealed scroll rested on her lap, unmoving.
He never learns. Rage makes him predictable, and predictability is a chain he doesn't feel tightening.
Through the viewport, the stars looked indifferent. She had severed every tie to her father's house. Now the galaxy would feel the recoil. Earth's diplomatic channels erupted with demands for answers. War hung in the vacuum, heavy and imminent. And somewhere, an heiress waited, her scroll untouched. In a sterile conference room aboard the Earth ship, Ambassador Patricia faced Lady Vren. The heiress held the scroll tightly.
Ambassador, this scroll is the founding charter of my house. It holds a clause my father never expected to see used.
She broke the seal and unrolled the ancient parchment. The script glowed faintly as Patricia leaned closer. Should the bloodline of Doth Vren express non-confidence, the speaker's seat is void and abandoned.
Non-confidence. So your public defection was the expression this charter demands.
It does. I am the eldest daughter. My denouncement is the lawful action required.
If this holds up, his war declaration has no legal authority. But we must file it officially and quickly.
The Hall of Records requires 3 accredited witnesses. Earth can provide 1. We need 2 more.
Every hour we spend recruiting witnesses, his fleet gets closer, and Doth Vren will try to stop us.
The scroll was a weapon that needed a trigger, and the clock was already ticking.
What exactly does the filing process require? Every hour matters now, Lady Vren.
The non-confidence must be witnessed by 3 accredited ambassadors and officially recorded in the Hall of Records on the neutral station.
3. Earth can provide my signature. That leaves 2 who must risk everything by standing with us.
Ambassador Kale of the Ventari and Ambassador Serena of the Drossel. Both have reasons to despise my father's rule.
Patricia pulled up their dossiers, her mind already calculating travel routes. The station was far, and every jump point was now a potential blockade.
They're across the sector. Even if they agree instantly, it's 2 days to the hall. Can we trust them?
I trust their hatred of my father more than their love of neutrality. They will come if we can reach them before he does.
The war declaration had closed borders and put every diplomatic channel on alert. A single intercepted message could doom them all.
We're building a case with a flaming fuse. One wrong step, and the whole thing detonates.
The clock had stopped being a metaphor. In the distance, the Speaker's war fleet was already realigning for an attack run. Encrypted messages went out to Kale and Sorena, the kind that self-deleted if intercepted.
She spoke via a narrow beam channel, her voice steady but urgent. You know what my father has done to your worlds. This is the lawful way to stop him forever.
The replies came back within the hour. Both ambassadors feared Doth Vren's reach.
They are afraid. Lady Vren. Sorena's own family was threatened once before.
Then we give them reason to believe. Let them hear why I walked away.
She transmitted a personal message, recounting the quiet horrors of her father's rule, her own loss of faith, silence. Then a brief text from Kale, "We will come." Sorena followed with a single word, "Agreed."
They'll meet us at the neutral station. But we have to get there without being seen.
The plan was fragile as glass, but now it had witnesses and a destination. In his war room, Speaker Doth Vren received an encrypted transmission from an informant.
The scroll, the founding charter. She means to unseat me with it, issue a kill order for any vessel carrying my daughter toward the Hall of Records, and advance the fleet.
The orders went silent, but the sensors didn't. Earth Command detected dozens of new warship signatures burning toward the neutral zone.
He's moving faster than we anticipated. If we don't leave now, we'll be caught in the blockade.
Then we go. A diplomatic courier, unmarked with enough fuel for one jump.
They slipped out within the hour. The shuttle's transponder locked to a civilian ID.
If he knew what I truly carry, he would burn the station to ash before I reached it.
We're being tailed. 2 ships matched our vector at the last checkpoint.
The chase had begun. And somewhere ahead, a neutral station waited. If they could reach it alive, the shuttle dodged through the debris field, losing the tailing ships. Ahead, the neutral station gleamed like a promise.
We are almost there. He will not stop us now.
They docked in a quiet bay where 2 nervous ambassadors waited in the shadows. Kale and Sorena exchanged glances, but fell in step without a word. Together, they navigated the station's secure halls until they reached the ancient doors of the Hall of Records. The chief recorder, an ancient alien with a ceremonial stamp, studied the scroll and then shook his head. He cited protocols, ancient and immovable, and refused to stamp the scroll.
We have the charter, the witnesses, and the law on our side. Isn't that enough?
The recorder's response was cold and bureaucratic. The council must authorize. Time was bleeding. The ceremony stalled. And somewhere, a war fleet drew closer. Vren stepped forward, her voice calm but unyielding.
The charter is clear. My defection is the act of non-confidence. You need no counsel. The law already speaks.
The recorder hesitated, then consulted an archaic precedent, his fingers tracing holographic runes. The precedent matched. A bloodline's public renouncement was self-executing, no authorization required. He lifted the ceremonial stamp and pressed it into the scroll's seal. The chamber resonated with the sound. The witnesses stepped forward, Patricia, Kale, Sorena, each affixing their official marks alongside.
It is done. Let the record reflect it.
The recorder nodded, and the filing was complete. Doth Vren III was no longer speaker, but the stars outside held their breath. The war fleet had not yet heard. Legally, it was over. Practically, it had only begun. News of the filing leaked faster than vacuum flashes. Every council world heard that Doth Vren's seat was legally void.
Forgery. A pathetic manipulation by humanity and my traitor daughter.
He broadcast his denial, voice shaking with fury, and ordered the invasion fleet to commence the attack. The council was thrown into emergency session. Voices for law clashed with voices for blood, but no one could ignore the recording. Patricia received the broadcast on a secure channel, her face grim.
He's pushing the fleet straight toward Earth. If the council doesn't disavow him publicly, We're at war within hours.
He will destroy everything to keep what he already lost. I knew this. I chose this anyway.
In the council, a vote was called, but the chamber was split and Dothvren's loyalists stalled. The war fleet, still answering to Doth's direct commands, began its final approach vector. The galaxy held its breath. A dead man was waging a war, and only a fractured council could stop him. The council's legal body reconvened in closed session and reviewed the Hall of Records filing. They voted unanimously. The non-confidence was authentic. Dothvren III was no longer speaker.
Earth Command. This is Ambassador Patricia. Dothvren is legally a private citizen. His war is an act of private aggression. Now the council must choose. Side with law or with a rogue.
The law did its part. Now the council must do theirs.
The news rippled across the galaxy. For the first time in council history, a sitting speaker was judicially voided. In the council chamber, the emergency session continued. But the legal verdict shifted the ground. Debate no longer centered on the filing's validity, but on the consequences of disavowing a powerful warlord. Meanwhile, Dothvren's fleet continued its advance, ignoring all hails from the council. The situation was no longer a legal dispute. It was a test of the council's very soul. Vren returned to Earth under a quiet escort, but the media cameras found her anyway.
I have no statement beyond what the law already says. I did only what any citizen of the council should have done.
But when Patricia met her in the secure corridor, the heiress's composure had cracks.
You won a great victory today, Lady Vren. But you don't look like someone who won anything.
A daughter doesn't celebrate her father's fall, Ambassador, even when it's necessary, even when it's just. I have unmade my own house. The silence will follow me forever.
You stopped a war. Millions will live because of what you did.
And he may still find a way to burn them anyway. Desperation is a weapon all its own.
Patricia watched her and understood. This was not a woman celebrating a triumph. This was someone mourning what she'd been forced to become. Outside, the headlines called her a hero. Inside, she carried a weight no camera could capture. The next day, Vren stood before the broadcast console, her fingers resting on the activation switch.
This is not about him. It is about what they will become without him.
She opened the channel. The council chamber fell silent as her face filled the view screen.
Honored delegates, I speak as a citizen who loves the council more than my father's name. My father's tyranny was enabled by silence and fear. You must now break that fear.
The delegates listened, some with hands over their hearts, others with tears.
I ask you not for revenge but for survival. Enforce your own charter. Disavow him.
In his war room, Dothvren watched with unblinking eyes, his hands shaking. When the transmission ended, the chamber buzzed with a new sound. Determination. The speaker pro tempore scheduled a disavowal vote. The motion passed without objection. The council's stand-down order reached the fleet, but the response was far from unified.
Ignore the council. They are corrupted puppets. All ships advance on Earth.
But in the void, several captains hesitated. Their ship icons drifted from the assault formation. In the Admiralty Board room, heated arguments erupted between loyalty and legality. On Earth, Patricia monitored the fleet's fragmentation with a tight jaw.
They're splitting. A dozen ships are breaking off, but the core hardliners are still pushing forward.
He will try to take as many with him as he can. That is what tyrants do.
Dothvren watched his loyalists dwindle on the tactical display and issued a final, desperate order.
All ships still with me. Full burn toward Earth. We strike before the council can vote.
The cord of discipline snapped. Now it was a race between the council's pen and a madman's warhead. The council chamber fell silent as the disavowal vote flashed across the holographic board. Overwhelming majority. The speaker pro tempore gavelled once and declared the motion carried. The official broadcast began. Dothvren III was disavowed. stripped of all titles, his war illegal. In his war room, doth Vren watched the feed. The color drained from his face.
Number. They cannot do this. I am the speaker. I will.
The audio cut to static. He was a private citizen now, his commands no more than the ravings of a ghost on Earth. Patricia transmitted the Council's order to the fleet: stand down and withdraw all forces. Ship after ship acknowledged. The invasion formation crumbled like a torn sail, but a handful of icons still burned red on the board. Doth's core loyalists refused to disengage. The war was over on paper. In the void, a last ember still glowed. The Admiralty Board reconvened. The vote was clear. All forces must accept the Council's authority. One squadron defied the order. A captain who owed Doth Vren a blood debt broke formation and accelerated toward Earth. From his war room, Doth Vren watched with wild eyes, as if a single ship could still break history. On Earth, Patricia relayed the threat vector to the newly loyal fleet command. 6 ships from the main fleet angled to intercept, cutting off the rogue's trajectory. Hails went unanswered. The loyalist captain pushed his engines to redline. A unified barrage of warning shots forced the rogue's shields to buckle. The captain finally cut power. The standoff lasted 12 minutes. No casualties. The squadron was towed back to the fleet. Patricia exhaled for the first time in days. Earth's orbit was clear. The last ember had died. The war was over. In a quiet observation lounge with a view of Earth, Patricia found Vren. The heiress's hands were still.
The war is over. The galaxy calls me a hero, but I feel like I've been hollowed out.
You stopped a tyrant and saved countless worlds. That's not hollow. It's the most solid thing I've ever seen.
I never wanted power or revenge. I only wanted him stopped.
Patricia studied the woman who had been a fugitive hours ago, now so still, as if a great engine had finally shut down.
Ambassador, I wish to remain on Earth, not as a guest or a diplomat, as a private citizen.
You want to disappear? After everything you've done, you could have any position you choose.
I've spent my life as a political tool. I want to be a student, to read philosophy and never again hold a galaxy's fate in my hands.
Patricia recognized the truth. This was not an escape. It was the destination Vren had been seeking through every risk she took. She nodded, and in that small office, a former heiress began to vanish. Within the hour, Patricia contacted Earth's leadership and relayed the heiress's understated wish.
She stopped a tyrant and saved our world. Granting her asylum under a new identity is the least we can offer.
Approval came swiftly. When Patricia turned to Vren, the answer was already in her eyes.
It's done. Earth will shield your anonymity. What name will you carry?
Sophia. It means wisdom in an old Earth tongue. It feels quiet.
She chose a small university by the coast, known for its philosophy department and its anonymity.
No more politics. Only pages to turn and questions with no deadline.
I'll arrange your enrollment personally. No one will know you were ever Lady Vren.
They walked together to the transit bay. One woman was leaving history behind. The other was watching it go. The shuttle lifted, and by the time it reached the coast, Lady Vren had become Sophia, and Sophia had a class at noon. Months passed like turning pages. Sophia became a familiar face in lecture halls, where no one knew her name. She sat among human students who smiled when she answered questions about the ancients.
No one here expects me to save a world, only to finish the assigned reading.
One afternoon, her tablet chimed with Patricia's identifier. He lives in a small apartment on the outer ring. His power is gone. Few remember him. I thought you should know.
He is alive. That is all that matters. The rest belongs to history, not to me.
She set the tablet aside and returned to the book in her lap. Outside the window, the campus was golden with autumn. A bell tower rang the hour. Sophia walked home through the falling leaves, her mind on Plato, not on the speaker who once held a galaxy hostage. In that small coastal town, the galaxy's crisis was a distant echo, growing fainter by the day. 9 years after she left everything behind, Sophia's tablet lit with a message she had never expected. Doth Vren died this morning. The service is tomorrow. I thought you would want to know. With condolences, Patricia. Sophia set the tablet down slowly, her expression unreadable. For nearly a decade, he had lived in a single room on the outer ring, stripped of title and power. The funeral on the outer ring drew fewer than a dozen souls. Most chairs remained empty. The man who had once threatened Earth died in obscurity, his name already fading from memory. Patricia's message had offered no obligation, but the question lingered. Would Sophia go?
He died alone. That was always the end he feared most.
She closed the tablet and placed it face down. The silence of the room felt heavier than before. Outside her window, the autumn light was fading. She did not move for a long while. After a long stillness, Sophia picked up the tablet and typed a reply with deliberate care. The man who was my father died long ago. I will not attend the service. Thank you for telling me. Sophia. She read the words once, then pressed send. The tablet chimed softly as the message went out. Then she placed the tablet aside and picked up the book that had been waiting. Plato's Republic. The pages fell open to a passage she had read 100 times before. Sophia smiled faintly, a peace settling over her that no crown could ever have offered. Outside, the last light of autumn stained the campus gold. The bell tower chimed. Students laughed in the distance. In that small apartment, a woman who once held a galaxy's fate had found something immeasurably smaller and infinitely more hers. She turned the page, and the universe, for once, did not object. Somewhere in a coastal university, a violet-skinned woman crossed the quadrangle, her braids catching the morning light. The students she passed knew her only as Sophia, the quiet alien who sat in the front row and always had the right answer. In the library, the same seat by the window waited for her every afternoon. Far away, on a neutral station, a sealed scroll rested in a museum case, the founding charter of a house now extinct. A handful of tourists glanced at it each day, not understanding what it had undone. The galaxy had moved on. Wars, crises, new speakers rose and fell. But on a small planet, in a small town, a philosophy student closed her book and looked out at the sunset. She had once been called the heir of Doth Vren, but history forgot that name long ago. Sophia found this entirely acceptable, and somewhere in the Hall of Records, a single line of text remained. Vren, daughter of Doth, expresser of non-confidence. The rest was silence. In her favorite chair by the window, Sophia read the last page of the Republic, then closed the book. The sunset spilled gold across the campus, softening the edges of the world. She looked out, her faint smile carrying years of quiet. Far away, in the Hall of Records, a sealed scroll displayed behind glass held the name of a dead house. Visitors passed it without a second glance. It was just an old document now. The galaxy had returned to its politics, unaware that a quiet student on a backwater world had once decided its fate. Sophia rose, placed the book on the shelf, and looked one last time at the fading light. She had no regrets, only the peace of a long question finally answered. And somewhere, in the archives of the council, a single entry remained. Vren, daughter of Doth, expresser of non-confidence. The rest was silence. Fade to black.